The auction house on station Kepler 442 reeked of desperation and credits. Marcus Chen stood in the back, his worn jacket hanging loose on his shoulders, his account balance flashing red in his neural implant. 300 credits left. That was it. That was all that stood between him and getting kicked off the station next cycle. He should have left an hour ago. He should have been looking for work, not standing in this cesspool watching sentient beings get sold like cargo. But then he saw them. 2 Rillian children, no older than 7 standard years by human equivalent, huddled together on the platform. Their silver skin had dulled from stress, their large violet eyes darting around the crowd with pure terror. The smaller one clutched her sister's hand so tightly that Marcus could see her fingers trembling even from the back row. Lot 47, the auctioneer droned, his Vex vocal cords producing that characteristic clicking sound. 2 Rillian females, ages 6 and 8. Healthy specimens. Homeworld destroyed in the Sector 7 collapse. No living relatives. Starting bid 200 credits. Marcus felt his stomach turn. The Rillian homeworld had been consumed by a rogue singularity 3 months ago. He'd seen the footage, an entire civilization just gone. And here were 2 survivors being sold to the highest bidder. 200, someone called out. A mining corporation representative by the looks of the uniform. 250, another voice. A Thoraxian merchant, probably looking for cheap labor for his hauling business. Marcus's hands clenched into fists. He should walk away. He had no business getting involved. He was barely surviving himself, taking odd jobs on the station, sleeping in a storage unit he'd converted into makeshift quarters. What could he possibly offer 2 traumatized children? The older sister whispered something to the younger one, pulling her closer. The little one buried her face in her sister's shoulder. 300. A new voice cut through the crowd like a blade. The room fell silent. Everyone turned to look at the speaker, Kravos the Undying. Even Marcus, who'd only been on the station 6 months, knew that name. The Zeltharian warlord controlled half the black market trade in this sector. His species was known for their cruelty, their forearms ending in razor-sharp claws, their eyes empty of anything resembling mercy. Ah, Kravos? The auctioneer said, his clicks becoming more enthusiastic. An honored bidder. 300. Do I hear 350? Silence, no one outbid Kravos. You didn't outbid Kravos and expect to leave the station intact. Marcus knew what would happen to those girls. Kravos didn't buy children for noble purposes. They'd be separated, sold again, or worse. The Rillians were known for their ability to navigate quantum streams, a rare gift that made them valuable in certain illegal operations. The older girl looked up then, her eyes meeting Marcus's across the crowd. She didn't plead. She didn't beg. She just looked at him with the kind of resigned acceptance that no child should ever have to feel. Something in Marcus broke. 350, he heard himself say. The room went dead quiet. Kravos turned slowly, his 4 eyes focusing on Marcus like targeting lasers. Human, Kravos said, his translator making the word sound like an insult. You are either very brave or very stupid. Probably both, Marcus replied, his voice steadier than he felt. His implant was screaming warnings at him. 350 would leave him with nothing. Less than nothing. 400, Kravos said, his mandibles clicking with amusement. Marcus's heart hammered. He didn't have 400. He could barely access the 350 without triggering a cascade of overdraft penalties. But he looked at those girls again. The older one was still watching him, and now there was something else in her eyes. Hope, maybe. Or maybe just curiosity about the crazy human who was going to get himself killed. Marcus thought about his own sister, Sarah. She'd died when he was 12, hit by a drunk driver while they walked home from school. He'd held her hand while they waited for the ambulance. He remembered that feeling of helplessness, of watching her slip away. He'd been alone ever since. 450, Marcus said. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Kravos's eyes narrowed. You don't have that much, human. I can smell your poverty from here. Marcus pulled out his personal datapad, fingers flying across the screen. He accessed his emergency reserve, the fund he'd been building for 3 years to book passage back to Earth. 2,000 credits. His ticket home, his future. I do now, Marcus said, transferring everything into his primary account. 450. The auctioneer looked between them, clearly nervous. 450 credits. Do I hear 500? Kravos stared at Marcus for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he laughed. a sound like rocks grinding together. You would give everything for two aliens you've never met? Kravos asked. Humans truly are insane. Maybe, Marcus said. But they're sisters. They stay together. Kravos studied him for another moment, then waved a dismissive claw. Keep them, foolish human. They will only drain your resources and leave you broken. He turned and walked away, the crowd parting before him. Sold, the auctioneer announced quickly, clearly wanting to move past the tension. Lot 47 to the human for 450 credits. Marcus felt his knees go weak as the transaction processed. His account balance hit zero, then went negative as the station fees kicked in. He just bought himself a one-way ticket to destitution. The girls were brought down from the platform by a station attendant. Up close, Marcus could see they were even younger than he'd thought, their faces gaunt with hunger and fear. The older one looked up at him. Why? She asked in halting standard. Why help? Marcus knelt down to their level, managing a tired smile. Because everyone deserves family, he said. And nobody should face the universe alone. The younger sister peeked out from behind her older sibling, her violet eyes enormous. What's your name? Marcus asked the older girl. Lyris, she said. This is Nima. I'm Marcus, and I have no idea what we're going to do next, but we'll figure it out together. Deal? Lyris looked at him for a long moment, then reached out tentatively and took his hand. Nima grabbed onto her sister with one hand and reached for Marcus with the other. As they walked out of the auction house into the harsh lights of the station corridor, Marcus Chen, broke, homeless, and now responsible for two alien children, felt something he hadn't felt in years. He felt like he was home. Behind them, unnoticed, Kravos watched from the shadows. The Zeltharian warlord clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Perhaps humans weren't as weak as he'd assumed. Perhaps there was a different kind of strength in their foolishness. Time would tell. For now, three unlikely souls walked forward together into an uncertain future, bound not by blood or species, but by the simple, powerful decision that some things mattered more than survival. Some things were worth everything.